Hi friends, welcome to our YouTube channel PharmaGest. So I would like, before beginning the video, I would like to tell that we are also running a GPAT Academy for all the pharmacy students who are preparing or going to appear for different pharma entrance examinations like GPAT, NIPER or PG Set or any other pharmacy entrance examinations. So all the pharma aspirants, students who are studying B Pharmacy in the third year or final year students also can approach us. If you want any further information, you can write to us at our email id, that is info.pharmagist@gmail.com, or else you can contact us by writing in the comment section below. So write your comments or feedback or suggestions or any requirements you have, you can give in the comment section so that we will approach you. And in this video we have included previous year questions given in GPAT examinations from the subject pharmaceutics. So let's begin our video. So the first question is, shake well must be placed on the containers of. The options are A. Ophthalmic suspension, B. Ocucerts, C. Ophthalmic solution, and D. Ophthalmic gels. So shake well, this instruction generally it is written on containers which contain either suspensions or emulsions. So the answer is ophthalmic suspension, because the particles they may not be uniformly distributed. So suspensions or emulsion containing medicaments are generally should be taken after shaking them well. So the answer is ophthalmic suspension. The next question is, in case of aerosol testing, valve delivering acceptance criteria for a volume of 54 ml or less. So what is the acceptance criteria for valve delivering in aerosols for a volume of 54 ml? The options are A plus or minus 75%, B plus or minus 5%, C plus or minus 10%, and D plus or minus 15%. So the answer is D, that is plus or minus 15% is the acceptance criteria for valve delivery in aerosol testing. The next question is, containers may be rendered free from pyrogens by adequate cleaning and by. The options are A. Autoclaving at 121 degrees centigrade for 15 minutes, B. Heating at 210 degrees centigrade for 3 to 4 hours, C. Autoclaving at 121 degrees centigrade for 1 hour, and D. Heating at 100 degrees centigrade for 3 to 4 hours. So the answer is B, that is heating at 210 degrees centigrade for 3 to 4 hours. The containers can be free from pyrogens. The next question is, GMP regulation are pertaining to minimum requirements to be met by industry when A. Manufacturing, packaging and holding of human drugs and veterinary drugs, B. Manufacture of human and veterinary drugs, C. Manufacture and packaging of human drugs and veterinary drugs, D. Manufacture and holding of human drugs and veterinary drugs. So what is the right answer? GMP regulation means good manufacturing practice regulations. So good manufacturing practices, the minimum requirements to be met. So when it is to be met, so when it involves human drugs and veterinary drugs. So the answer is manufacturing, packaging and holding of human drugs and veterinary drugs. The next question is, which one of the following viscometers can be used for characterizing non-Newtonian system? So the options are A. Falling sphere viscometer, B. Cup and bob viscometer, C. Capillary viscometer, and D. Hoppler viscometer. So what is the right answer? The right answer is cup and bob viscometer. So this is the figure of cup and bob viscometer. So here it is used to test the viscosity of non-Newtonian system of materials. So this is the principle how it acts, and this is the figure of cup and bob viscometer. The next question is, For drug substances with highly variable pharmacokinetic characteristics, the following bioequivalence study design is used. A. Parallel design, B. Non-replicate design, C. Non-parallel design, and D. Replicate design. So what is the right answer? The right answer is D. Replicate design. The next question is 21 CFR Part 211 of US FDA describes. The options are A. Current good clinical practice, B. Current good packaging practice, C. Current good manufacturing practice, and D. Current good laboratory practice. So what is the right answer? The right answer is current good manufacturing practice. So CFR, what is CFR? CFR is Code of Federal Regulations that govern food and drugs within the US FDA, that is United States for Food and Drug Administration, and the Drug Enforcement Administration DEA, and the Office of the National Drug Control Policy. Okay, so this title 1 deals with the Code of Federal Regulations regarding food and drugs, and in this 21 CFR Part 211 means it is the compliance that requires the manager of any regulatory controlled manufacturing company to manufacture all medicinal products so as to ensure that they are fit for their intended use, comply with the requirements of marketing authorization, and do not place patients at risk due to inadequate safety. Okay, so CFR is Code of Federal Regulations and Part 211 is the current good manufacturing practice. Next, which one of the following is the property of microemulsion? A. They have particle size more than 1 micron. B. They have poor stability. C. They exhibit viscoelastic gel phase when internal phase is added in excess. D. They have milky yellow color. So what is the right answer? The right answer is C. They exhibit viscoelastic gel phase when internal phase is added in excess. Next, movement of charged particle through a liquid under influence of an applied potential difference is known as A. Sedimentation potential, B. Streaming potential, C. Electrophoresis, and D. Electroosmosis. So the right answer is electrophoresis. As per US FDA, NDAs for new chemical entities are classified as either A. P for product review or S for standard review, B. P for priority review or S for standard review, C. P for product review or S for safety review, and D. P for priority review or S for safety review. So the answer is P for priority review or S for standard review. So all the options are looking similar and confusing. So you should remember the right answer, and these are given to confuse you and reduce your score. So you should be very careful regarding the guidelines of US FDA, CFR, and good manufacturing practices, wherein all the terms are given to confuse you. So don't get confused, clearly remember them and give the right answer. Next, in pre-formulation study, polymorphs can be detected by A. Countercurrent chromatography, B. Refractometry, C. High performance liquid chromatography, and D. Differential scanning. So the answer is differential scanning. The following are used to determine the amount of drug bound to a protein. A. Equilibrium dialysis, B. Solubility, C. pH titration, and D. Distribution method. So the right answer is equilibrium dialysis. Okay, so the protein binding, so the drug protein binding can be measured by different methods like equilibrium dialysis, ultrafiltration, ultracentrifugation, gel filtration, and binding to albumin microspheres and circular dichroism. So these tissue binding techniques. They involve testing binding to isolated organs, tissue slices, homogenates, and isolated subcellular particles. Next, in tablets, hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose, that is HPMC, is used as diluent, film former, disintegrant, D. Binder. So what is the right answer? The right answer is B. film former. So HPMC or hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose is also called hypromellose, and it is used as a coating agent and a film former. So it is an inactive ingredient in the manufacture of tablets. Next, Dakin's solution is a synonym for A. Ammonium acetate solution, B. Chlorinated soda solution, C. Chloroxylenol solution, and D. Aluminum acetate solution. So the answer is chlorinated soda solution. So Dakin's solution, it is also called Dakin's fluid or Carrel-Dakin fluid. It is an antiseptic solution containing sodium hypochlorite that was developed to treat infected wounds. It is diluted sodium hypochlorite solution commonly known as bleach. Next, Medline, Embase, EBM and IDIs are A. Drug databases, B. New compendial specification of drugs, C. Chronicles of drug standards, D. Source of drug patents. So the right answer is drug databases. Medline, Embase, EBM, IDI, all these are different drug databases. The next question is, theories of emulsification are characterized by one of the following except. So the options are A. Film formation, B. Phase inversion, C. Monomolecular and adsorption, D. Solid particle adsorption. So the answer is phase inversion. So what are the different theories of emulsification? They are monomolecular adsorption theory, oriented wedge theory, oriented adsorption theory, plastic or interfacial film theory, surface tension theory, interfacial tension theory, Fisher's theory of hydrates and solvates, and viscosity theory. So all these theories are given in these options except phase inversion. So the right answer is phase inversion is not a theory of emulsification. Next, soda ash is also known as A. Limestone, B. Sodium carbonate, C. Pure silica, and D. Calcium carbonate. So the right answer is sodium carbonate. Next, microcrystalline cellulose is also called as A. Sugar tab, B. New tab, C. Mdex, and D. Avicel. So what is the right answer? The right answer is Avicel. So microcrystalline cellulose is also called as Avicel. Next, which of the following statements is not true regarding bulkiness? The options are A. The reciprocal of bulk density is bulkiness. B. Bulkiest substance will require container larger than required for less bulky substance. C. Smaller particles shift between larger ones and increase bulkiness. And D. Bulkiness increases with decrease in particle size. So the right answer is smaller particles shift between larger ones and increase bulkiness. Next, which of the following is not used for achieving amber color to glass? A. Manganese, B. Iron, C. Cobalt, and D. Carbon. So the right answer is C. Cobalt. Next, in case of open model intravenous infusion, CSS, that is steady state plasma concentration, is equal to, the options are A. Plasma concentration into infusion rate by clearance, B. Cmax into infusion rate by clearance, C. Tmax into infusion rate by clearance, and D. Infusion rate by clearance. So what is the right answer? The right answer is infusion rate by clearance. Next, in case of suppositories base, SFI stands for A. Solidified fatty acid indices, B. Solid fluid indices, C. Solidified fatty acid incline, and D. Solid fat index. So what is the right answer? The right answer is solid fat index. Next, which polymeric form of a drug candidate has the highest melting point? A. Unstable, B. Metastable, C. Hydrates, and D. Stable. So the right answer is stable. So a stable polymorphic form of a drug candidate has the highest melting point. So the different polymeric forms will be having different stabilities. So one form is more stable than the other. So a stable polymorph represents the lowest energy state. So it has the highest melting point and least aqueous solubility. So the remaining polymorphs are called metastable forms. Now the next question is, for bitter drugs in pediatric formulations, excellent flavoring agent will be A. Raspberry syrup, B. Orange syrup, C. Lemon syrup, and D. Blackcurrant syrup. So the right answer is A. Raspberry syrup. Next, the co-administration of erythromycin with cyclosporine. The options are A. Increased bioavailability due to inhibition of hepatic metabolism. B. Increased bioavailability due to inhibition of microflora in intestine. C. Decreased bioavailability due to complex formation. And D. Decreased bioavailability due to induction of hepatic metabolism. So the right answer is increased bioavailability due to inhibition of hepatic metabolism. Next, essentially hospital formulary system provide mechanism to A. Streamline prescription writing, B. Improve quality and hygienicity of fruit, avoid branding and therapeutic duplication, D. Improve surgical procedures. So the right answer is avoid brand and therapeutic duplication. Next, volume of blood that flows per unit time per unit volume of tissue is A. Residence time, B. Elimination rate, C. Gastric emptying rate, and D. Perfusion rate. So the right answer is perfusion rate. So perfusion is the volume of blood flowing through certain mass or volume of tissue per unit time. So blood flow is usually given in units per ml or ml per minute. The next question is, leaching by immersion of crude material in solvent is also known as A. Maceration, B. Precipitation, C. Evaporation, and D. Crystallization. So the answer is A. Maceration. Next, which of the following is not a mechanism for achieving gastro-retention? A. Osmosis, B. Floating, C. Mucoadhesion, and D. Swelling. So what is the right answer? The right answer is osmosis. So gastro-retentive drug delivery systems, so they increase the bioavailability and control delivery of drugs that have an absorption window. So the different approaches are floating, bioadhesive, swelling, magnetic, and high density systems. So based on all these answers, the right answer is osmosis. So it is not a mechanism for achieving gastro-retention, whereas other procedures are gastro-retentive mechanisms. Now coming to the next question, the phase contrast microscopy is valuable in studying living cells which are A. Stained, B. Unstained, C. Treated with fluorescent dye, D. Treated with fluorescent antibody. So what is the right answer? The right answer is B. Unstained. Okay. So phase contrast microscopy is a technique which is useful for viewing unstained cells and generally for observing living cells in vitro. Okay. So this is the figure of a phase electron microscope. So this staining, so generally what happens is in the different staining procedures which we use to identify cells, they kill the living cells. Whereas in phase contrast microscopy, you can visualize living cells. So there is we do not use any staining procedure, so the cells are not killed. So hence you can visualize the living cells. So this is the microscope which is used for phase contrast microscopy, and here you can observe the difference in these images. So this is general image in a microscope, whereas in phase contrast microscope, so the image is more brighter and clear, and you can distinguish the different organelles which are present in the cells. So this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching our video, and if you feel the video is useful to you, so feel free to like it, share it, and subscribe to our channel for more videos, and share this video with your friends who are preparing for the GPAT or different pharmacy examinations. And thank you.